inspired by, well, just read it. The introduction to Reading for Desire Books, open mic night, April the 30th, 2019. This is a prose poem in 2 parts, written in response to a recent SBS program, also in 2 parts, titled Christians Like Us. 10 Christians of different ideologies live for a week in-house together. One of them is trying to resolve his faith with his experience of abuse within this faith. It's hard to watch and hard to resist the easy way of retreat into disbelief. This reading resulted in an intense mixing of the climate change, global warming crisis, and the many dimensions of inequality, many of which intersect, now irrepressible in public debate and activism. One of the housemates is a survivor of prolonged intense gay conversion therapy at a young age within his faith. You might have heard of him, it's Chris Kassab specifically. And Michael was a homeless man who's referred to, and these are people I refer to and inspired these verses or prose. Michael was a homeless man in DY who I tried to befriend and help on first moving there. He fell on hard times when a business partner cheated him of his assets. Someone who, in current parlance, had a go and got ahead. There is an argument offered that those who are not enabled in terms of property, income and social positioning have no right to comment, critique, opinion on the fact of thus not being qualified for such opinion. The best response is found in articles in the Guardian newspaper series Life on the Breadline. Articulate, informed and powerful essays by people living the New Start and other economic realities. Follow no one or follow these, who are named Amethyst, Nijole, or Nijole, Tara, Lucy, David and Mick, and recently Gavin Ritchie. From the inside, looking out, these are extraordinary witnesses, I guess you could say, of our time. So it's in 2 parts, and I've called it Utopia's Compromise. I looked up utopia, and in a historical context, utopia was Thomas More's, the first idea of utopia was Thomas More in 1516 wrote his Utopia, and it was his borrowing. He borrowed from the Latin, which is OE, which means no place, and he turned into utopia as an imaginary ideal place. And unfortunately, because he didn't agree with or didn't recognise Henry VIII as the leader of the head of the think of it, head of the church. He was brought to an unceremonious end. They chopped his head off or something. Now, the first part is it's called Utopia's Compromise, and I think what I'm saying is that, well, it can be obvious from what I say. Part 1 is called Half Utopia. This man's story will have no reader after midnight. Half-truth, holy orders, channeling Godhead capital. Half-truth, half everyone genome, confirming the holy orders for matrimonial penance. To provide extreme unction, half-genocide. Who is sick from sin? Who is dying? Who is part dead? Which part? This man, altar boy, says it goes on and on, beyond the remains of holy matrimony, the fatherless son. Which father? Not laughing, lachrymose, grief, the sacrament. Block, black, endless tunnel, channel, corridor. In 2 minutes, fires on. Midnight baptism by ecocide. Bell ring, a voice of joy, joyless now. Bring it home to the centre of this known world. Old world, Anangu, one world. Gospel, heart spill. See the sad man. This man's boy bones will shatter in space, remembering one time. This now, moment in time, endless. 3 and 10 days. On the 7th day, God rested. This man, he never rests. On the 3rd day, the 4th day, on the 5th day, on the 6th day, on the day after the 4th day. If you cannot see, you cannot count to the end, and never ending was the promise. Small count of colour white, colourblind. No physics, no prism, no rainbow. Rainbow, science, refraction, retraction, inaction. A psalm of the dead fish is God's work in 12 years. This man can lie down and sleep at midnight. Unearthed half utopia, earth purge, purgatory, the rubbish of ecocide, no garden. landfill of profit margins. Some of you will be frozen, holy orders thy will be done. Half utopia this Eden, this is hellfire frozen, preserving fossils, half-life extinction for rock face excavation by the robots, half time, dropped out of 3 dimensions. Mercy is this man's anguish atomized, electrons, particles, physics made this. Fire's out, blackout there, no light to read this man's story. Part 2, Utopia printed. Prospectus, blueprint, ideologue, Sunday, Michael says. Michael, carefree, carefully housed away, locked in safety, clean airs without the bin hands, no boat, no bath, no hope, safe closed bin hands. This is your life without outage. Digressing to an example of a person, in real time, interesting sample, a real statistic, fact. Sound baseload science, fact. So much choice now, no choice, he said. Who said? They said. Every man in a bus, on a plane, plain truth, and thank God truth is out in the public square. Minted solution, coins speak. Bespoke utopia, time flight economy, upfront, get up media sings, high, low, everywhere. Here inside, insiders collusion across the stakes, mistakes of creed ideal, view of temperance, see the leader, mistook care for freedom, any leader. This crowd, a perfect 10 of one word, book-listed anthem to intelligence. Subverted bookend e-story of this man is this life planetary queer zone, engraved and returned to the angels. Michael, bin man in the subway eatery, fast food for the clean, unclean high hygiene fell before alternative. I play on alternative because I wrote a poem, just interrupt this, call about the homeless people, and I saw them as the priests, the high priests of survival in the cathedrals of the city, which are the canyons. Unclean high hygiene fell before alternative. Street priest masterclass in waste management, no entry without fixed address, but where did Jesus live, sleep, eat? Modern Christ, global citizen, east to west star, trek, lives here. Allowed no state solution. Final solution, everywhere man. Thank God truth is there everywhere, public and square. Whose truth? Every man establishes sufficient truth. Suffices this truth for most needs. Paradigm shift for economy? No need, he said.